Now at 5, a teacher in Oklahoma is suspended after a federal indictment. Plus, new laws in the state of Missouri are set to go into effect after the first of the year. And President-elect Trump continues his transition with his eyes set on January 20th.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A man is rushed to the hospital suffering from a gunshot wound. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Anthony Saviello. Around 9:20 this morning, Joplin police got a report of gunshots near the area of 9th and Sargent in Joplin. They found a man with a lower leg injury. EMS provided aid and took him to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators with JPD are working to determine the circumstances of the shooting. Police encourage anyone with information to give them a call. Multiple agencies were alerted to a rollover crash early Christmas morning. Just before 12:15 a.m., Eric Drapo of Joplin was traveling eastbound on Highway HH, taking the on-ramp to Mo 171 when his SUV rolled over, ejecting Drapo from the vehicle. He was taken to Mercy Joplin, where he later died of his injuries. And the Missouri Highway Patrol releases its annual Christmas traffic crash report. Troopers reported 3 vehicle fatalities over the holiday. That was out of 65 traffic crashes, 38 traffic injuries, and 17 DWIs. The numbers reflect a 30-hour counting period from 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve to 11:59 on Christmas night. Last year, troopers reported 3 fatalities during a 78-hour counting period. For comparison, there were no boating crashes or drownings during this year's or last year's Christmas holiday counting period. Well, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for a first look at weather.
Well, it turned out to be a dreary one for us today. Temperature is pretty good. Most of us mid to upper 50s for highs, but we are going to be tracking at least some showers rolling in as we go through the evening hours. Sitting at 55s in Joplin, also in Pittsburgh. Most of us kind of 54, 5, 6, 7 degrees. We're not going to drop off too much tonight. We'll slide back into the upper 40s, and that will be just about it. So a slow drop through the 50s. Showers increasing as we go through the next several hours into the overnight hours. On top of that, we have a dense fog advisory. We're still going to have fog on the Missouri and Arkansas side, but it's going to be a little bit thicker once you get out across southeastern Kansas into northeastern parts of Oklahoma. So if you are going to be on the roadways, watch out for that. All right, rain increasing, especially in our southern counties. We're going to be talking more about this here in just a bit.
All right, see you soon, Doug. The Oklahoma State Board of Education has suspended the teaching certification of a special education teacher who was charged in federal court with child abuse. Jennifer Earnyart and her husband Keith Earnyart were federally indicted on December 16, 2024 on multiple child abuse charges involving their 15-year-old. Those charges include neglect and assault with a dangerous weapon. According to documents, one of those forms of abuse was evidence of taser marks. Any teacher whose certification is suspended has the chance to appeal. That hearing will happen in January. On January 1st, Missouri will update its expungement laws. Expungements are the official sealing of someone's arrest or conviction. Once sealed, these records are unavailable to be seen in background checks. The updated law will allow multiple charges in a single criminal indictment to be grouped and expunged as a whole. It also increases the number of crimes that can be sealed in someone's lifetime. For a felony sentence, the waiting period to apply for expungement goes from 7 years to 3, and for misdemeanors, it goes from 3 years to 1. Changes to expungement laws aren't the only law changes Missourians will see in 2025. Minimum wage will increase, and there will be stricter distracted driving laws. Some of those laws going into effect on the 1st include the hands-free law. You face a fine starting in the new year as opposed to only warnings. If you flee an officer during a traffic stop, the new Valentine's law kicks in, making the consequences more severe. And if a driver fails to respond or pay a fine, the court can no longer issue an arrest warrant. Other new laws taking effect in Missouri for 2025 include that minimum wage going up. We've covered it before. Proposition A boosts wages from $12.30 an hour to $13.75 an hour. It also requires employers to provide an hour of sick leave for every 30 hours worked. There is a legal challenge to Prop A. You can learn more on that by searching our website, kymnewsnow.com. Well, President-elect Trump has focused a lot on his most recent rhetoric on international affairs, including in several social media posts on Christmas Day. Katrina Kaufman has more details from Washington, D.C.
President-elect Donald Trump spent part of his holiday posting on social media about possible U.S. global expansion. Trump's Christmas Day post included claims that China is illegally operating the Panama Canal, Canada should become America's 51st state, and the U.S. needs Greenland for national security purposes. In Panama, demonstrators outside the U.S. Embassy on Christmas Eve lit fire to a poster showing Trump. They're protesting Trump's suggestion last weekend that the U.S. could once again take control of the canal.
Aquí hay un canal, es panameño.
This man said, "The canal here is Panamanian. Donald Trump, with his imperial delusions, cannot claim a single inch of land in Panama."
We're being ripped off at the Panama Canal.
Trump says the U.S. built the canal and is the largest user of it. He is demanding cheaper access to the waterway as a result.
They haven't treated us fairly. If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America.
On Christmas Day, he announced Miami-Dade County Commissioner Kevin Marino Cabrera as his pick to be ambassador to Panama. Katrina Kaufman, CBS News, Washington.
Before winning election in Miami 2 years ago, Cabrera served as the Florida State Director for Trump's 2020 campaign and as a member of the Republican National Committee Platform Committee. Still ahead, working to reduce clothing footprints.
Reducing textile waste. I'm Danya Backus with a look at a new law that's requiring clothing companies to repair or recycle old clothes.
And up next in Health Watch, what one nonprofit is doing to help students balance their phone use. Topping today's Health Watch, a new Minnesota state law requires school districts or charter schools to adopt a policy on the use of cell phones in school by March of next year. But one nonprofit has gotten a jump start working with students to help them find a balance from devices in and out of school. Derek James has more.
This group of students at Two Rivers High School meets 2 or 3 times a month. Notice that there isn't a single smartphone in sight. That's the point. They're part of a digital well-being club.
What's your relationship like with these?
So it's a really great piece of communication. At the same time, it's draining hours and it's wasting away time that I could be spending with family or on school or with friends.
The club partners with Live More, Screen Less, a nonprofit started by Catherine Myers, a former teacher of 25 years.
Our mission is, to continue to bring digital well-being forward, and then our vision is young people thriving in a digital age.
For over 5 years now, Live More, Screen Less has collaborated with community stakeholders to support young people. At Two Rivers, students host log-off lunches where devices go unused. At a recent leadership summit, club members had the ears of leaders from public health, education, government, and technology firms like Google.
We facilitated really good discussions about screen use and about actions that we can take.
These students initially wondered how an updated cell phone policy would impact them, but say it's working.
We felt more focused in class, that we didn't have the opportunity to be distracted by technology and checking Snapchat, checking whatever it is.
I think this club keeps me accountable because as saying that I'm a large part of the club, I have to demonstrate that, and I can't be someone who's on my phone.
We started focusing really on high school students. We need to be at birth.
While she's seeing positive steps forward, Myers says more action is needed.
Derek James, CBS News.
Well, flu season is running rampant across the U.S. The CDC says 13 states reported high or very high levels of the flu last week. Adding to the problem is lower vaccination rates for children. It's too early in the season to know how effective this year's flu vaccine is. And the holidays can be a big source of stress, but psychologists have some advice to take care of your mental health. They recommend letting go of perfectionism and accepting that not everything you plan will come out perfectly. Focus on things that make you happy and ask for help if you're overwhelmed. That's a look at today's health news. A little later, what the state of California is trying to do to reduce textile waste.
Plus, we have periods of showers rolling in. We're going to be breaking that down for you coming up. Well, it turned out to be a gloomy Thursday for us today, but most of us have been dry. We've had a few little scattered sprinkles across the region, but mainly dry. We are going to start to pick up some showers as we go through the rest of the evening into the overnight hours tonight. Great shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, it's Thursday. Every Thursday, our new drought tracker comes out, and it's been looking better over the past couple months. We were in an extreme drought just 2 months ago, back at the end of October. Now most of us dry, still a little bit of a drought once you get up towards Stockton Lake, but definitely looking better. Dense fog advisory, meaning visibility is under 1/4 of a mile. Southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma until tomorrow morning. We're still going to have fog in Missouri and also Arkansas. It's just not going to be quite as thick as what we are going to see in the western half of the region. We do have the clouds. You can see a few light little showers which have been popping up on the radar. Very light, very scattered, picking up a little bit once you get into our southern counties. So south of I-44 along I-49 into northwestern Arkansas. Much heavier rain once you get down toward Fayetteville, Springdale, also Fort Smith. But we are going to see these light showers creeping in as we go through the next several hours. This wave is kind of pushing through. Then we have a second one which is going to fill in right behind it and keep the clouds thick for us on Friday and also keep some showers around. Let me walk you through time. Hit and miss showers as we go through the evening hours. Rainfall amounts, they're going to be light. So here's about midnight. Temperatures upper 40s to near 50 degrees. Hit and miss showers all the way into tomorrow morning, and then they'll kind of flare up again late morning into the midday hours. So here's noon, hit and miss, scattered light showers, kind of pushing through Friday afternoon. And I think any showers that we do see will mainly be out of here by 6 or 7 p.m. Temperatures, though, tomorrow still pretty good. Most of us 56, 57, 58 degrees, but the clouds are going to be sticking around all the way through tomorrow night. All right, rain chances, they kind of shoot up later tonight, down in the morning, and then creep back up a bit as we get into Friday afternoon. How much rain could you get? Again, scattered, again, very light. A lot of areas, maybe 1/10 of an inch, maybe 2/10 of an inch. There may be a few areas that pick up a little bit heavier than that. Outside right now, we're sitting mainly into the mid-50s. Here's 7th and range line. Nice shot. Sitting at 55. Easterly winds light at about 5 to 10. Through the evening, those showers increasing across the region. On your Friday, morning showers and then drying up, afternoon showers. High temp right around 57 degrees. Let's go down the road. So this is our upper level pattern, which is showing these quick moving storm systems. So we have another little guy on Saturday, then a break. Sunday looks good. Another system shooting through on New Year's Eve that we'll keep our eyes on, but it doesn't look like we're going to have any big systems over the next several days. 57 on Friday. Let's go 60 on Saturday. Sunday looks good. 58, partly sunny. 63 on Monday, and then once the new year rolls around, it's going to feel like January. Highs into the 30s and 40s.
It's about time it actually started getting cold.
A little bit colder, yeah.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, coming up, are you returning some gifts after the holidays? You may not be alone. Topping today's Consumer Watch. Every year, people in the U.S. throw away billions of pounds of used clothes and textiles. California is now the first state in the nation to make clothing and textile companies responsible for their products from start to finish. CBS's Danya Bacchus explains.
One looks good.
At Project Rewear in Thousand Oaks, California, Linda Young and Kimberly Lau have made it their mission to reduce textile waste by giving pre-used kids' clothes a second chance.
It's just about having kids and always worrying about their future and other kids and future generations. And honestly, if we don't think about it today, tomorrow is going to be a problem.
A problem California is trying to do without. Textiles are currently the fastest growing component of California's waste stream.
The amount of pollution that we could reduce by just wearing a garment even a month longer, right? Or swapping it.
Most of the labor and cost of managing textile waste falls on thrift stores, charities, and local governments. California is now making sure textile and clothing producers are doing their part. is the first state in the nation to enact a new law requiring apparel and textile makers fund a reuse, repair, and recycling program.
It means a fundamental shift in the way that they do business. They have never in the United States been required to take responsibility for the end of life of their product.
Rachel Kibbe is the CEO of American Circular Textiles. Her organization helped advocate for the policy. Clothing and textile companies could be required to provide drop-off or collection systems for used garments.
What I would like to see out of bills like this is a huge network of resale and thrifting and repair pop up. It should be the norm that you walk into any store and a lot of the clothing could be resold.
We're always trying to find ways to reduce everything.
Kimberly and Linda see the law as in line with their work to decrease the amount of clothes going to landfills.
It means that there's responsibility from the start of when something's produced all the way to the end.
Accountability they believe will make a difference. Danya Backus, CBS News, Thousand Oaks, California.
Well, Christmas is over and hopefully you are excited about what you received. If you're not, you'll probably return it like many others, according to the National Retail Federation and a management company called Happy Returns. Retailers expect a return of $890 billion during the 2024 holiday season, which will be 15% higher than last year. Customers at the Meadowbrook Mall in Pittsburgh say what they think is the reason for returns during the holidays.
I would say it's either something that they just didn't like or didn't fit, so they just brought it back.
Well, I'm a big guy, so usually it's because they don't fit.
Because it was like something I didn't like.
The Better Business Bureau says you should always check or ask about the return policy and, of course, keep those receipts. Well, in 2024, Gallup says U.S. employee engagement reached an 11-year low and overall employee satisfaction returned to an all-time record low. The report found more people are looking for new jobs, but quit rates have not increased. Gallup says that means workers are staying put in their current roles, even though they feel disconnected from their jobs. It's a trend Gallup has referred to as the Great Detachment. Other challenges cited in the report include employee adoption of artificial intelligence and ongoing issues for parents related to childcare. First-time filings for unemployment held steady last week, indicating layoff activity remains low. That's according to a report from the U.S. Department of Labor released Thursday. There were an estimated 219,000 initial jobless claims filed during the week ending December 21st. That's a drop of 1,000 from the week before. However, the number of people receiving ongoing jobless benefits hit a 3-year high, a signal that it's harder for job seekers to find work. Final check of the forecast next. Coming up on KOAM News at 6, we'll hear from the Joplin Police Department following the discovery of a man with a gunshot wound, plus the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks restocks an area lake during the midst of trout season, and the Kansas City Chiefs deliver a Christmas present to some furniture shoppers in Joplin. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News coming up, and then the KOAM News at 6. Well, Christmas Day has come and gone, but the celebration continues. This celebration calls specifically for something you may have received in your stocking. Today is National Candy Cane Day. It is observed every year on December 26th. It's not entirely clear exactly when candy canes came into existence, but according to one source, references to the peppermint flavored treat started popping up in literature in 1866. Candy canes were first associated with Christmas as early as 1874 and started hanging on Christmas trees as early as 1882. So, Doug, here you go. I got you a candy cane there, sir.
I didn't even get one this year, so I appreciate that.
There you go. There you go.
I'm going to eat that between the 5 and the 6.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan.
All right, we are going to get some showers in here. Hit-miss showers rotating in this evening through the overnight hours, and then picking back up once again for us late morning into the afternoon hours tomorrow. Temperature is pretty good over the next several days, cooling down next week.
Got to enjoy the warmer weather while we got it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we'll be right back here at 6. Have a great night.